Good evening. Um, I would like to work out what the hell is going on. Why have you not got music? Um, or is it just not showing up? I don't actually know. Um, Let me quickly check. I had all this sorted and I can't even remember. Why can I not find crafting and making? Makers and crafting, that's the one. And I was going to go with. Yeah, I do apologise for all of this because clearly I'm not doing very well. So the question still is though, is there any music? Because all I see. Oh, I mean, dogs, will you settle down? It's windy out. It is not the end of the world. I, it's just. I don't know whether I'm being a complete plank or not, but I can't even get it to tell me whether there's music playing or not. Let's see if I can do it this way. And if those dogs don't stop trampling everything, I'm going to go nuts in a minute. Oh. Why is it I can't even go to my own channel? There is no music. Now the question is, why is there no music? I think I know why. There. Now you have music. That's a good thing. Right. And I need to finish poking this. Now I saved some of this the other day, and you have no idea. I'm talking about the stream definition thing. Is it that one? Of course, you're going to open the most slowest loading program just to show me a picture. Of course you are. I know it. And now I've lost my window. There it is. So, this is what happens when you can't. Oh. can't do what you wanted to do the easy way, and you swap between doing something completely different. So obviously I streamed some PoE yesterday, and I was going to do PoE again today, but I have been so tired. I think it is the decompression from all the stress that I've had, but frankly staring gently is all I've really been fit for. And so here's me trying really hard, and I'm just not really fit for any of this stuff. So I've done my best, and I'm now kind of prepped and ready to go. I think I need to shout at the dog. Hang on. It's just one of those. It's just... The dog's been really happy all day. They've been really snuggly and nice. What were you eating? I could hear you chomping. Only you don't have things to chomp. So whatever it was probably not what you should be chomping. So let's get down to business. Now, let's uncover where we're at. That looks like a funny angle, even though it looks like it's at a funny angle. Let me have a better look at that. Yeah, I mean, I know it's not level. That's kind of level. It just looks... I know what it is. It's because the light's slightly more to one side than it could be. So if I do that, is that a bit better? It still looks like it's on an angle. So it looks like this end's higher than that end. But I can tell you, it kind of isn't. Which means... maybe... No? The camera's not. Live with it. Right. That's my official opinion of the day. Live with it. Right. So. Let me... Rory is now, of course, wanting to help. I don't need your help, my little man. I love you dearly, but I do not need your help. And I especially do not need her help. No. I don't. I really don't. I meant, I really don't. In other words, back off, you know? It's a bit like when you know, someone approaches you in the pub or something and it's kind of like, hey, can I? No. But no. What part of no don't you get? Leave me alone. Right. So, you're a bit long, really, aren't you? Let's shorten you slightly. There you go, right. So, you need a twist on you. And then we do the thing. And we do the thing. And we do at least these things. So you're still really, really long. I don't remember them being this long yesterday. I really don't. Ah, it's just... Oh, for goodness sake. You do loads of twists on the bobbins, and it doesn't seem to shorten it much at all. I don't know how many twists that was, but it was like 20. It didn't seem to go anywhere. That was far too short now. We'll shorten you slightly, because I at least want to keep them on the pillow. Oh, that's a bit short as well. Right, so... It is really windy outside. I'm not on weather alert, but by the sounds of it, it's kind of surprising. Although local news lot, oh, it's going to hold the whole county. No, it's like 2 people at the bottom. They are amazingly good at it. I mentioned this yesterday. They, Gloucestershire Live has this amazing ability. So they'll be like, you know, threatenings of, I know, a foot of snow in Scotland. Gloucestershire on high alert. Snow going to ravage the county. Well, not this county, it ain't. It's kind of like, really, Gloucestershire Live? Can you not? Surprised we don't get it every time there's like an earthquake in somewhere in America, and it's like, oh my God, reported earthquakes in Gloucestershire. Not in the UK though, love. Definitely over dramatising the world. And the problem is so many people seem to fall for it. You know, the Facebook group constantly is full of the, yeah, but it's not applicable here kind of comments. And then all these other people going, oh, but it says here this. And it's like, yeah, have you read where that actually is? You know? It'll be like Scotland, the South Coast, Ireland. And you're kind of going, it's not in Gloucestershire. You know, can we settle down a bit? Hey, there's going to be flooding. Oh, there's always flooding around here. It's kind of weird for a landlocked county. We do seem to get an awful lot of flooding. We do seem to be very waterlogged. We still, of course, have hosepipe bans, but we're waterlogged and drowning. As only the UK could, you know. Have a flood and then complain that there's not enough water, you know. Still, let's shorten you a bit more, because apparently it's not enough, wasn't short enough. Right. So yes, I'm a bit... played a bit more PoE earlier, briefly, not for long, because I've then needed a nap. As you can tell, I'm really wide awake. I understood it that this is not criticism. It doesn't make PoE bad, but I thought PoE 2 was quite a lot of. We understand that beginners find it intimidating. We're going to make it easy, not easier, but we're going to make it easier to follow and understand. I'm not finding it easier to follow and understand. If anything, it seems more complicated and harder than the last one. Because at least in the last one, when you levelled, the gems that you had socketed on items that you had began to level with you. You know, so let's say you're level 1, you've got a few things. When you hit level 2, the sockets gain experience, and, you know, after a little while, ting, your socket's ready, your gem's ready for levelling. Not anymore. Now you seem to have to find new gems to do that. And my witch that I started yesterday, which was the one I did best on, not that I did well on any of them by any stretch of the imagination, but the witch one, I found that I can have 2 gems of skeletal minions. So one comes on built into the weapon that I had. The other was an actual gem. In doing so, I now get more skeletons. Great. But I've got 2 lots of the same thing, which I thought was A, not supposed to be possible, but B, seems a bit weird. Now you can find weapons with... Oh, seriously, I didn't yawn all frigging day, and now I hit go, oh, here I am. And I'm kind of running out of coke because I need to do a Sainsbury's run. Tesco's run, whatever. I haven't been to Sainsbury's for years. But we have then the fact that you're bound almost 100% by drops. Now, obviously you were before, to an extent, but at least if you had gems you liked, and you went up in level, so did they. See, that looks totally wrong, but there we go. No, it doesn't. It's just the way they're grouped. So I found myself really confused because it means that my skills are pants. I'm struggling to upgrade them because, well, you just don't get that many gems drop in to do it. You don't really get a lot of choices as to what you can do with them. Why are you so long? And then you kind of like have support gems, or you can have support gems. Oh God. Maybe I should just stop streaming altogether, because the moment I do, I yawn. And it's really rude. And, you know, with all due respect to the few of you who come, you know, it's not exactly a popular sport. So, maybe I should just give up and just get on with this in my spare time. Because at least it would get done. I just can't stop yawning. And it does seem to be related to streaming. The moment I stream, I start yawning. Which is incredibly rude. And I can't stop it. You're just going to have to listen to me yawn for half an hour until it wears off. No, my luck, it won't. So yeah, I do apologise. I shouldn't be yawning because I really shouldn't be this tired. I let myself sleep in. I've let myself nap today. To the point it's 6 o'clock and I have done literally nothing of value all day. And yet I feel like I've done, kind of like 36 hours of hard graft or something. It feels like I've been doing this 36 hours and it's been, 21 minutes? Yeah. I never used to have this problem. These bobbins are getting annoying. It's not the bobbins, it's just, individual bobbins and their windings are proving to be a bit annoying because they're just being annoying. Alright. So that's that. So yeah, I do apologise. Apologise for my existence at the moment. I think that's probably the... Oh, my book turned up. I ordered a book. I ordered a book, it's the back. And in it are countless little bits of lace with different thingy bobs in. They're really, 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 really small. I mean, as an example, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? It's almost like this is a shrunk book because it's not A4. It's almost like it was supposed to be A4 and it's not. Wake up. Do you need bashing on the head too? I woke up with a dog trying to lick my eyeballs out this morning. Seriously, they were licking my face so hard that it was hard to keep my eyes shut. Let me put up a notice. I can't. I need to put something up. Let me do add text. Okay. So colour background. I'll do. Let me type this in. do that. There you go. Leave that at the bottom. Right. At least I feel slightly less rude doing that. Even though, of course, it was supposed to have a black background, and it doesn't. I know, possibly because of that. Hello, my friend. Hello. It has indeed been a while. Very much. How are you? I did some of that yesterday. Yeah, work is a bit of a swear word at the moment. I changed employer beginning of the week, and it has been stressful. Ads in 3 minutes. And as a result of which, I am struggling to decompress at the moment, which is probably why I am slightly so yawny as I am. But to be honest, yeah. Well, it's even more confusing for those who aren't British, because we have a process called 2P, and it's not what it sounds like. TUPUE, right? Basically, it means that should an employer transfer your job, they arguably have to transfer you with it, which is what has happened. I now work for another company doing the same job that I was doing, but I'm paid for by someone else, and I am bound by two masters. However, it still is very much like getting a new job, because you have to get whole new equipment for this, or your logins change, because effectively you're coming now in as somebody else. You know, Liz the permanent worker has left, and Liz the contracted worker has arrived, and it's just well, let's just say not everything's working yet. And considering that, you know, there I was this time last week, everything worked, I could do my job, I knew exactly what was needed, what I was doing, where I was going, and today I don't. So has been quite a stressful process, because as part of 2P, some things can change, and there is consultation and discussions and lots of meetings, and in essence, for want of a better description, you have to be your own lawyer. You have to go in and you have to sort out an awful lot of legal things, basically without any training, without any experience, and almost without any guidance. Now, what do I mean by that? Obviously, you know, your terms and conditions from your old job may not be meetable by the new lot, and they're allowed not to meet it. But at the same time, there are certain things they do have to do, but they also have to give due consideration as to why they can't meet stuff if they can't meet stuff, right? And why do you... I think... Yeah, you are separate, that's right. It just looks like you're all mated together. So you have to kind of push to try and keep as much of your old stuff as you had, so... And adverts, joy, joy, joy. Pop, pop. Good. So we'll only let you back from adverts now. But yeah, so it's been stressful, and obviously, you know, I just, my body has kind of got to the can't be doing this anymore stage, and basically wanted out. So I'm a little bit haggard by the whole process, to be honest. I could do with like 6 months of hibernation to get over it, but I want to do things at the same time, so here I am trying to do things. But as for PoE 2, I was playing PoE 2 earlier. I played some on stream yesterday. So yeah, how are you finding PoE 2? I'm a bit confused, to be honest, with PoE 2, because I thought, I mean, I've played a reasonable amount of the early stage PoE. I never did too much of maps. I kind of didn't really appeal to me, so I'd just make a new character and play around. And anyway, I thought they were supposed to be making it. Yeah, I thought they were supposed to be making it more newbie friendly, and at the moment it actually feels more confusing to me than even the old one. I mentioned this just before you joined, in that at least with the old one, when you levelled, your gems accrued experience and would level. Now you have to find new ones. And, well, I don't know whether I'm being dumb, but mine don't seem to be dropping particularly, you know, I'm not exactly inundated with options here. And how come you're suddenly so long again? And, you know, I'm level, I don't know, I think I'm level 9 or 10. I haven't played that hard. Mainly because I keep fucking yawning and I can't concentrate, and I tried each of the classes for a little bit last night to see which one I got on best with, and the answer was none of them was because I couldn't concentrate. And it's not a game you can't concentrate in. You have to be paying attention for stupid little bits of hints of nothing that they've added. And, well, I mean, I even watched the video on the when you see this, and I couldn't even see what they were talking about. I did not understand. Oh, it'll be really obvious, it says. And I'm watching the video going, I don't see what the clue is that you're telling me is obvious. Clearly it's not that obvious, you know. And so I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be more newbie friendly, and at the moment I wouldn't say that it is. I mean, you can get in it, you can start killing stuff, but when you die to the trash mobs in the opening scene kind of thing, it is not newbie friendly. I mean, obviously there's the new replacement for Hillock, right? He's evil, because of course now every boss mob constantly spawns waves of minions, for want of a better word. Waves of, a wave of trash mobs. And next to all of the classes, especially when you're like level 1, do not handle groups of mobs well. Hell, they barely handle one mob well, let alone 7 or 8. And I have no problem with the game being hard. In fact, making a game hard is fine. But there's hard, and then there's just damn annoying. Well, and I discovered this today. I was messing about, and on my witch character, I, like you, obviously you pick witchy kind of thing, or you found... Well, exactly, and it not every boss needs to spawn, across the total fight, like 100 little mini extras, right? Not all of them. They really, really don't. And the Devourer can go itself. Seriously. If that game says to me, the tail, one more time. Yeah, I can't target the tail, so can you shut the out the tail? I'm aware that there's a tail and it hurts. Thank you very much, right? But with the skeletal minion thing, I've got a scepter thing that's got, I know, skeleton warriors on, for example. Then there is the skeletal assassin or archer or whatever it is, right? And you can assign that to one of your unset gem things. And now you have a dude who will drop a gas arrow in the middle and basically do it, it will let out a big fart bomb and, slowly kill them. What I didn't realise is that now 99% of the skills, if you've already got one, so I know you have a wand and it's got Chaos Bolt on it, assigning a new gemmed Chaos Bolt doesn't help you. But it does with minions. They don't tell you that. So you can have two identical gems in your gem slot things. And of course, the gem slots aren't really clear what they're a slot of. Now, the answer is because, of course, these days, I haven't found that, but then, of course, I haven't taken off my scepter. That's a really good point. But, so, I found that I could have a second skeletal minion warrior, whatever it was, and that depending on how much spirit it was using, I could add. So instead of having 2 minions and maybe 1 assassin, I can now have 4 skeletons. And they go in, and if you've got the unstable or whatever it's called, when they start dying, they explode. Now, that works really quite nicely. I quite like the explode on death kind of option. Because the more of them you have, the more likely it is to wipe out the thing that it's doing. Now, there are a number of combinations that do new and exciting things. So, we all knew that previously, if you had a flame wall and you shot something through it, it got added fire damage. Well, now, it's kind of not just added fire damage. It can make things explode. It can make... And so it can be, again, quite powerful. But none of this is explained. In the gems window, there are things you can click on and it plays a small video, hence the whining that I couldn't spot the thing that it was trying to show me. Because one of the things that I found with that gems window is that if you mouse over it to see like the video and everything, there's tabs on it, but you can't click on any of them. How do I get to see those? How do I get to see the rest of that? I know it's all early access and it's crashed a few times. Servers have farted a fair bit originally yesterday. And I don't really have a problem with all that because it is early access. But the fact that gems now don't level up, the fact that armour can now have sockets and it gets runes, not gems, confuses you if you come from PoE of old. But the runes, I've got a rune, but I've got literally nothing I can put it in. And I was thinking I was missing something. Because, of course, 99% of items in PoE 1, bar belts, had sockets. Might only have had one, but it had a socket. Now, next to none of them have sockets. And I did find it unique. Yeah, and the AI of the mobs is a little bit bizarre. As you say, you know, your pets are wailing on them good and hard, and they, oh look, there's a player over there, I'll go smack it. Now, that used to annoy me in EverQuest when things did that. In EverQuest, if you killed an NPC who had a pet, their pet lived. You had to kill the pet separately. As a player, if you kill the player, all the minions die. It's not entirely fair now, is it? You know, it feels cheaty. Can't even hold on to a bobbin. What is wrong with me? You look wrong. You look like you're reluctantly part of the party. Let's undo this a little. There where you should be. Right. So yeah, I am struggling with it because knowledge of PoE really doesn't help, which is fine. But there's a lot like PoE. I guess in some ways being like PoE 1 is worse because you think you knew what you were doing, but it turns out you don't. Watched a couple of streamers today, well, when I wasn't asleep. Ghazi seems to have it down pat, but then he's really good at PoE kind of thing. He almost has a PhD in it. I swear he invented it. Everything seems to work the way he wants it to, which is kind of frustrating because he had, like, you know, 30 minions on screen going around killing everything with auto this and auto that and auto the other, and you're going, I can't even live through trash mobs, do you mind? It's kind of so yeah, I do hope there's a bit more refinement to go on. I wish there was a way also in game to do feedback. I haven't seen one in game. Maybe I've completely missed it. As I say, I'm really tired, so I could miss a truck and walk out in front of it right now. But I do think that it would be good because it's not that I want them to stop the game being the way it is. I just think that, you know, one of their key aims was to make it more friendly for new people. It's harder than it was. Because now you have gems and runes rather than just gems. You have, and okay, they no longer have coloured sockets, hallelujah, but now you've got two different types of things, and you know, I got this rune and nothing I can do with it. It doesn't even say to you, oh, congratulations, you got a rune. When you get something, it says just put it in the socket in your armour or your weapon. They don't seem to have sockets, said my brain. Because I haven't seen one with a socket. So I don't know. I just, it doesn't feel like they've managed to totally fix the potential off-put for new players. And the fact that I'm not a new player and it's off-putting me to an extent, it means they must have missed the mark, right? I'm sure I will get better at it, and when I get better at it, I'll be less annoyed with it. But like you say, you can find yourself in a position where the mob that you need to kill next, you cannot do, and, you know, seemingly no matter what you do to it, you know, it's never enough. One thing I am finding, and I don't know whether you are as well, is that they put in an ability to change your mind. so you can start a skill and change your mind. But you can now change your mind, so you can start some big move and change your mind. Well, I don't know how it thinks you change your mind, but all I seem... Quite often, my team stands there like a complete plank being wailed on, doesn't dodge, doesn't cast anything, and I think because I'm constantly cancelling the move that I was starting and not actually achieving any of them, and then of course dies. And that leads me to be really angry because I've stood there while, 20 things wail on me, and I'm not stunned, but I'm not doing anything, but it's not seemingly... And it's things like... It's not earth shatter anyway. Something where you smack the ground and spikes. Well, and this was the thing. I mean, we always had Hillock, right? But at the same time, Hillock really was smack, smack, run away, smack, smack, run away, smack, smack, run away, smack, and eventually he died. If you died when you got back to Hillock, chances are Hillock's HP was where you left it. Not now. Now all the fucking mobs around you have respawned and all. And so now you've got to fight through all the trash mobs from the nearest checkpoint. So potentially, depending on how many there were, because of course they don't just respawn, sometimes they go nuts. I mean, in Clearvale View, whatever it's called, the first kind of town, you go into like the first outside bit after, trying to drown in the river, right? I died, fair enough. And there were 12 mobs waiting for me. I had enough jobs doing 2, and 12, especially those witchy ones that have like 3 or 4 pets, and so do the little circle of blowing up thing. I had 4 of them. Well, bugger me, what a shocker, I died again. And stuff like that, that makes me annoyed with games. As you say, when you die and they're almost camping your ass. And I kind of don't like the fact that it respawns everything now. I get that if you've been away long enough, fine. But the boss mobs, because the zones seem quite big now, they weren't small in the first place, but they seem even bigger now. You wander away, you go off and do something else, you come back, the boss has respawned. The mobs have respawned. And they're not kind of, flick it and it's dead kind of level mobs. These are mobs that, you're having to heal, having to get mana regen from. You're using up your pots, and then of course if you leave, they respawn again. And it just feels... There needs to be an easier mode. There needs to be, for beginners, an easier mode. There needs to be a slower respawn. She is super useless almost. She is almost like the nails, the hair, sorry, if you've ever seen The Simpsons, it's there's an episode where he plays an arcade game between 2 women, and it's like skank, the hair, and that lives in my head like a little kind of rotating meme. But it is. She's almost the walking around in her Louis Vuittons with 6-inch acrylic nails. I can't do that, I'll break a nail. And one fart from a nearby mob and she's dead. And that first clear, whatever it's called, area has multiple almost mini bosses in it. Then, of course, you've got to go and kill the big devourer in the mud pit, or wherever it's called. And he's friggin' evil. And there are other bossy type things down there. And it just is... it's hard work, and that's fine. Hard work is fine. I don't know how they do hardcore. I right now, I could not even dream. Hardcore, I wouldn't even get off the beach. I almost die to the first mob that you meet, right? I'm sorry, but I just can't. This is why I don't do hardcore, because if I've managed to get all that way, tell me I'm wrong though, you're struggling to get going, and the last thing you want to do is kiss it all goodbye because, one trash mob got you in the bad day, right? Or one of those witchy things blew your ass up at the wrong moment. It's just... It's too new. I don't know it well enough. I don't know the areas and what to expect of them well enough. And the answer seems to be, of course, I mean, it makes Australia look tame. Everything is trying to kill you. And everything is deathly poisonous. It's not, it will just bite you or chase you. It's everything's deathly poisonous. Everything's kind of evil and it is. It really is hard work. And I wish for at least, I mean, obviously there are people, I think Ghazi's level 80 or something by now. He certainly was 60, I think, when I finished watching earlier. And I don't know how he's done it. I mean, I know he played all night, but I actually don't know how he's managed to get to 60. Now, he is playing Witch, and even he said that it is really hard in the beginning. Well, and this is the thing. I mean, as you say, right, that very first boss mob at the end of the river bit, the first bit, it's too easy to die to him. True, but I mean, just as well, to be honest. But that first boss mob, with all the trash mobs that it spawns, is really hard work. I did better on my witch than I did on any other class. My warrior just stood there and got twatted a lot until he died repeatedly, almost to the rage quit level of screw this. It just wasn't. It is just hard work, and as you say, it doesn't feel entirely responsive, and this is why I'm convinced that I'm falling foul of the ability to change your mind mid-thing. So it never actually does any of them, because you're mashing buttons to make it do something, so it doesn't do any of them. Because, if you mash button 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order, in that time scale, well, it starts 1, changes to 2, changes 3, changes to 4, and then you've started pressing 1 again, trying to get something to happen. And you're constantly going around that cycle, but none of them are happening because you're cancelling them before they actually play out. But even thinking that maybe that's the case, I was trying to cast, I think it was Flame Wall. No, it wasn't Flame Wall. It was anything. Trying to cast something on either the Witch or the Sorceress. And I would hit the button. Literally nothing happened. Hit the button again. Literally nothing happened. Hit the button again. After a while, doing normal melee, normal first button click so that your first weapon does whatever your first weapon does. Click, 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 click. 1. Click, click. 1, click, 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 1, and yet number 1 has not happened yet. The other thing I'm finding is that you have the ability to hold shift so that they stand still and cast. Most of the time they don't. They still walk around. You hold shift and click and it moves to try and be nose to nose with the mob and cast a spell on it. No, I said stand here, cast over there. not walk all the way over there, get eaten to death, and die. That was not the plan. And I'm finding that kind of lack of response or lack of understanding as to why it's not doing what I wanted is really frustrating me. And causing lots of deaths because, press space to dodge. So it stands there and gets twatted one. Well, what part of that is a dodge? It's... I don't know. I'm sure I'll get used to it. But part of me says there's getting used to it and getting used to it. Yes, you should have to get used to what certain things mean, how they will interact with each other, and gain game knowledge. I get that. But when it doesn't do shit when you've mashed the button, that's not really something you should have to get used to. Unless it's going to say to you, you can't do that. You can't do that now or something. At least then you can't do that now. Rather than just mash, 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 nothing. Mash, 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 nothing. Mash, mash, nothing. Very... And I think that is part of the tiring aspect of it for that game. I found it quite difficult because you're concentrating so hard, trying not to press buttons in case you're overriding something else, to try and keep an eye on all of the, your health and your... I just don't seem, I just couldn't manage it. My brain just got to a point, it just couldn't manage it. And I'm not stupid. Well, I can be, but I'm not inherently stupid. It did seem very, very wrong that it was so hard, so quickly. I do agree that, boss mobs should be boss mobs and they shouldn't be easy. But, the first get to the village thing, I mean, a bit of a harder battle. Harder, yes. Near impossible, which is how it more feels, kind of excessive. And it's not like he usually drops anything that great either. I mean, he drops some stuff, but it's not, it's not like you get really great loot out of it. Sometimes you get really shit loot out of it. And it's kind of like... It is... I mean, one of the things that I found in PoE 1 was that, as a whole, the drops on your character were swayed to whatever class you were playing. Not in PoE 2, they're not. I'm not saying you didn't get pointless drops, but you didn't get... You generally got stuff that you were using. Whereas this just seems to be absolutely random crap. I want to do more of it. I want to go back. I want to be doing it now, to be honest. But at the same time, I want to get Stupid Curtain done. But I just can't concentrate. I can't even concentrate on this that well. I'm struggling to concentrate on doing this. And I feel literally like I've been up 36 hours. No, I haven't. I haven't even been up 10 yet. And I've had naps in that. I am that tired. I really am shot. And it doesn't help because obviously, a new game is different. You've got a lot to take in, and I guess it's a bit like going on a training course at work. They can be really tiring because your brain's trying to take in 1,000 new things, but usually it is because it is completely alien. But this isn't completely alien, but it kind of is. It's like, the reimagined film stuff, where it's the same story, but it's so different that almost if they didn't use the character names and tell you it's called the same thing, you wouldn't know. Think like Total Recall, right? It's not that it makes it a bad bad game. It really isn't, and I don't think it is a bad game. I just think that for now, an awful lot of people, and there are, I do have a controller, she says, looking, wondering where it is, because it's not where she thought it was. Must have made a leap for freedom somewhere. It should be here, and it's not. It's probably under a bag. There it is. That's right, there's a dog in the way. I can't pick it up because it's made out of shiny plastic. There we go. I do, indeed. Yeah, don't look put out. You're the one that chose to sit there, dog. So yeah, I've got a controller. I am not very good at controllers. What did I try and do that was controller based recently? Was it Dark and Darker? I sucked shit at that. There's been a couple of games that had a controller option and I gave it a try. And I am not natural. I kept hitting menu all the time because menu was the nearest button to where you held it. So I have historically not got on well with controllers. I know you can remap everything, but I do own one. I probably will give it a try because well, it can't suck any more than this. I tried WASD, and of course that then remaps only one of the use keys, because on the PC it's QWERT as the skill keys. Well, of course W is move now, so they move that, but only that one. So it's not like it's now a completely different set of keys, say for the other hand. No. And that then makes me feel like my left hand needs to have like 12 fingers on it, and I'm not very good at that. So it might be that the controller is an answer for that. I haven't looked at what setup the controller is. But as you say, there are a few things in it that seem overly hard work right now, and overly hard work almost from the moment your character arrives. Oh, and by the way, you know when you pick your character type, you can press space to skip. Not if you press it too soon. If you press it too soon, it goes back to picking the name. Tells you your name's taken, of course, because it's taken by itself, and you get stuck. Yeah, I mean, I really do want to play more of it, but at the same time, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating when as I say, you're mashing, kill, and it's not doing anything, but you don't know why not. You've got mana, you've got health, you've got, it's not greyed out, so why not? I could do with a bit more feedback on that as to why these things aren't happening. Or at least if I am cancelling it, because of course I haven't seen any actual information on how you cancel an action. So maybe I am constantly cancelling them, but I don't know I'm doing that because no one's told me how that works. So I think, as I say, I think it is something I will grow to learn and I will get better at. But as I say, there is a bit of you. I mean, if you think of PoE 1, in Zone 2, so you go out the other side of the little first, villagey bit. Oh, dog. And you go through the zone to get to the two bits. One takes you to the gems to collect for the underground passage. The other takes you to go and get a medicine chest. In that zone, there is a fire guy who is bastard. He is evil, but you can avoid him. You don't seem to be able to avoid a number of these guys in PoE 2. It's... I know that everyone's banging on about how great it is, and I'm not saying it's not great. But from a more newbie perspective, and I think one of the things that does annoy me, and this is a genuine annoyance, is that what we Brits call the back tick, which on our keyboard is underneath the escape key, right? And it says, control your minions with the back tick key. But if you press that key, it's not that key. That key does shit all. It's the quote key, which is the opposite end of the keyboard. But if you're going to make it so that the keyboard mapping is only American, well, that's not very kind, because most of us aren't... Well, there's quite a lot of the world that ain't American, you know? And I tried mapping it to the back tick key, and thinking, oh, well, you know, I'll remap it to that key, because at least that key's the one that it says it is, but it's also where I, you know, whatever it thinks that key is in American, it can use that. It thinks it's the back tick key, except that it ain't. When you play in the game, doesn't do it. Yeah. And so I don't know how useful it is, because I can't remember to use the other side of the keyboard when I've got one hand on the mouse, one hand on, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 and QWERTY UYOP kind of thing. I'm not leaping to the other side of my keyboard to try and remember which one of the many keys that is the one that they're thinking of but isn't labelled as such. I mean, again, not very newbie friendly. When you have to play, now which key did they think that? I actually only found it by chance. Being an IT geek, I tried to think where Apple put it, because obviously Apple don't do a UK keyboard, right? And it's where I think it is on an Apple keyboard. Yeah, but we're not all on Apple either. That's why I downloaded for Windows, and in fact, I don't remember them saying it was available for Mac. So, yeah, it is that kind of. My keyboard doesn't have that there, and it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. A number of games do it. A number of games list keyboard mappings as an American keyboard layout, even though they know you're not American, they still cite keyboard mappings in American layout. Now, there's a problem with that. We have an extra key on the left-hand side next to Shift with a backslash on it. The American keyboards, I can't even remember where it is on an American one for the moment. So, our keyboard is different, and it matters because of, you know, where your hands are. If all the keys are normally over here and this one's over here, it's no good to me. But if you're also not going to take my mapping, well, that's equally no good to me. If I've said use this key here, and you've gone, yeah, and then don't, well, that's no good to me either. I don't know whether it's just a case of that one mapping, you know, somehow has got hard-coded or something. But it does, you know, hasn't worked for me. And when I click the thing, it seemed to acknowledge that was the back tick was the key of the keyboard, and then in game completely ignored it. I mean, as I said, it ignores a lot of things in games sometimes, so I am wondering, if there is something more to it. But when you're literally doing nothing and you press it and nothing happens, kind of suggests it's not working. Especially when you then press a key on the other side of the keyboard and look, it does something funny, that. So yeah, I don't know. I do like the graphics though, I will say they've done a good job, and as always the performance of the game seems pretty sweet. All of that kind of stuff. I mean, I've crashed it a couple of times, but nothing, again, early access, it is allowed after all. So yeah, I'm not disappointed, but I am frustrated, and I don't know quite where that's leading me, because it could soon turn to disappointed, because if they don't fix it, if they don't improve it, if they don't, and I forever remain kind of like really low level, not being able to kill things, because I can't progress because I can't kill the damn shit. Well, gonna start, the hating will start, and it can't just be me and you potentially with these problems. It has to be a little bit more systemic than that. In which case, well, then you missed your aim of making it more available to newbies. Then, well, you missed that. Nice. I'm playing on my PC, so I've got 4K on it, so I'm alright with that. But it does look really nice. Not gonna diss the graphics and everything. They've done a really good job. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a controller person, but like everything, I'll clutch at a straw if it's, I'll try anything if you once, it's. Yeah, one thing that would be really tempting is to buy one of those mass button jobs. A bit like the Stream Deck, but the really, really big one that's got 128 keys on it or something. No, you know what I mean, the one with 40 keys or something. So you can map absolutely everything and have the name of it on there. So it's not just, try and remember which letter does what. You can actually write on it, heal, mana, whatever. That would be tempting. Buy a gamepad thing. But it is, of course, early access. There may be stuff that this all gets sorted, and we'll look back and wonder why we moaned about it. But today, here we sit, both slightly frustrated with some of the more boss level mobs, because they're not impossible. Due to the number of ads and the fact that at low level, your characters are not designed for mass numbers of mobs. They're designed for more picking them off one by one. I think some of the trick of it is finding the combinations that cause extra effects. But again, you've got to have the skills to do that, and if the skill gems aren't dropping much, well then that's not going to happen either. So I also noticed that, for example, looking at the vendors in Clearview or whatever it's called, the first town. There's two people who sell, say, rings. And rings do not drop from the sky like they did in PoE 1. One of them's a gambling thing, so you pay quite a high price for it on the off chance it's going to be good. The other is a normal vendor. But a basic adds 1 to 4 damage ring is over 1,000 gold coins. And you're getting like 1 from a mob. Prices seem a little high to fill in some of the gaps. With kind of trash loot level stuff. Which of course then encourages you to keep it all in your stash so that should you make another character, you can fill out with trash loot some of your gaps until you get better stuff. And I really want PoE 2 to be a bit more than it currently is. I know that they've added more classes. Not sure they really needed more classes, but apparently they've added more classes. So there's more ascendancies, more this, more that. But to be honest, as a newbie, ascendancies aren't explained. From the mob at the start window, it doesn't tell you this. And so, for example, Ghazi is quite famous for writing build guides. But the problem I find with build guides is it will say things like, oh, you need a mage blood. Well, they don't just rain from the sky, darling. I mean, so I'm glad it gets better. It couldn't really get a lot worse, could it? But probably part of that is because you've not been buying the stuff that you would normally have bought because it's so expensive. Because normally you'd have bought a couple of gems here and you'd have bought a different this because it's got different coloured sockets on it and you'd have bought shit. Whereas now you're not really buying shit because, well, you can't really afford it. As I say, it's not like, you know, you get to the end of the boss mob and he drops enough money for you to buy something at the vendor. Chances are you've got like 20p in your pocket and that's about it. And all the burgers are, you know, £10 plus and you go, 20 pence, great, you know. It's just as well there isn't food and water in the game. I'm also struggling somewhat with the fact that there is only 1 health potion, 1 mana potion. And that you can't bias it towards health because you're melee more, or, you know, mana because you're more mana based. You have 1 of each. And yeah. You know what? I really, really am struggling to do this. I've done bugger all of this and I'm really struggling with this. I just can't concentrate on it. I would quit and play PoE, but I won't be able to concentrate on that either, really, so you know, it's not like that would be a better thing to do. Time is it? 7 o'clock. Probably should eat something. Well, that'd probably help, but I could have sworn I started at 5. I really thought I started at 5. Apparently not. So yes, I do feel like I'm going to play more PoE today. And die a lot, swear a lot. Get angry at it for a bit. Definitely think minions help me because at least they tend to do something while I stand there like an idiot gawping at it. Whereas, of course, all the others don't have minions necessarily, and so if you're standing there gawping at it, you tend to die. And my warrior seems incredibly flimsy for a warrior. He really does stand around the most and get smacked about and die a lot. I mean, to be honest, I had a bit more luck with the ranger because at least she can fire from a distance, but she suffered an awful lot from the shift not stopping her moving and running up and standing nose to nose with the thing that wanted to eat her and dying because, well, she's a ranger, she dies. But if she did get off some shots, they did work quite well. So she gets like a lightning thing and a poison thing fairly easily. And there's this lightning kind of almost like lightning roots that go out that kind of creep across randomly across the ground. But if you've there's a lightning rod spell you can cast and as a ranger, and if it meets the lightning rod, it tends to do far more excitable things. So you fire the rod into a group of things and they kind of look at it a bit, because they do, and then you hit, you know, this lightning tendril thing, and it does do quite a lot of damage, and sometimes they even explode a bit. So with that in mind, that could be quite nice. As I say, I really struggled with warrior, even more so with mercenary, because for some reason every crossbow is basically a shotgun, and my brain just kind of went, do not understand. How can every single thing from this shot, this what look like and act like a shotgun? But there's also reloading for it, which instantly put me off. When you've got to reload it, yeah, just much like every game, you're almost killing something and now you need to reload it so it comes wells on your ass and kills you. That's not conducive to fun gameplay in my mind. Especially when you seem to be, you know, completely all thumbs and all thumbs when it comes to reloading, so it seems to take you like 10 minutes. Okay, it's not 10 minutes, but it feels like it when you're being beaten on. So yeah, I'm very much struggling with how it all works at the moment. But and I do think some of that is because I don't understand, and I'm not going to pretend that that's not part of it. But again, they were aiming to make it more noob friendly. Well, yeah, you haven't achieved that yet. That definitely is not noob friendly at the moment. I'm sure some noob will fire it up and go, oh my god, I so totally get this. I don't. And you know, we played PoE before, and so we have a bit of insight where, you know, as to how they think and how some things might go together, but it doesn't help. I actually think it's more of a hindrance because you half expect it to be similar and it's not. I had hoped to do a really, really long stream today, but I just haven't got the brain power for it. I think I should turn the TV on and drool gently at some rubbish. That sounds kind of where my brain's at the moment. Preferably something I've seen before, so when I don't pay attention, I know what's going on. It's that level of kind of drool gently staring at the wall, you know. Yeah, I mean, I think to an extent we all get used to something, and I'm not really a controller person, but as you say, can't be any fucking worse. So I will have a go on the controller, because well, why not? I bid you good night. Have a good sleep. It's only 7 o'clock here, so a bit early for sleeping, but that's never stopped me. So yeah, have a good snooze. I hope to see you again. Do come back. Tell me how you get on. Flip. You sticks. Put you back down. There you go. So, and then line you up. Round you come. Like this. Line you up for a stick. Go that way. Like that. So, I do apologise profusely for the lack of excitement for today, and I do genuinely mean I am sorry, but I am struggling really hard with it. I've just got absolutely no energy whatsoever. I just can't concentrate on anything. I've at least stopped yawning briefly, but I could spend the next hour staring at the wall and not even notice at the moment. So with that in mind, I do apologise profusely. I'm going to put my covers on. So that it's all safe and sound. Put this one over the top just because I can. It's spare at the moment. And then put my traditional brown one of doom over the top. And I'm going to bid you good day. As I say, I'm really sorry, but I tried. I have tried. I failed, but I've tried. The worst thing is the moment I stop this, and I don't know, I go and get another drink from the kitchen and maybe put some food on, I'll feel wide awake. And then 15 minutes later, I'll be really tired again. So, as I say, I'm really sorry, but clearly my brain cells need to recover. I know I had a couple of days off this week with stress and you know, not wanting to burden you all with it too hard, but clearly I'm failing a bit this week. But it is only day 2 of my days off, hence I'm disappointed with myself, because obviously I hope to be doing longer and not shorter times. But we are where we are. If I push it today, then maybe I'd still be tired tomorrow. Maybe if I don't push it today, maybe I'll be a bit more awake tomorrow. So we shall see how it goes. I might try and do a bit of cross stitch. I might try printing out a couple of bits from Lace 8 to see if they match the sizing, so that I know I've got the grid the right size. I might do a bit of that, but to be honest, that involves lifting the printer up and plugging it all in, and not really up for that right now. Oh look, the yawns have come again. Oh, goodness me. This is it. I managed to stop yawning for what, half an hour? And now I'm yawning again. I mean, really, my brain is just trying to shut down constantly. So I'm going to let it. I'm going to bid you adieu and see you tomorrow. Take care, people. See you soon. Bye-bye.